In this video, I'm going to do a review of the Lincoln Power Mig 210MP. It's a multi-process welder. With what it comes with, you can do MIG welding and stick welding. If you buy the TIG torch, you can do lip start TIG on DC only. I had been wanting to buy a mid-size MIG welder for a while, and a local welding store gave me a good deal on one. Yeah, this is my Lincoln 140C welder. I've had it for 14 years now. And this is a 120 volt welder, and I run a 23 thousandths wire, 11-pound spools. The smaller the diameter wire, it's better for welding thin metal because you don't blow through as easy. And I probably put over 100 spools of wire on this and never had any problems with it. Yeah, and over here's my Lincoln Power Mig 300. I don't use this one very often. Even the torch is big and heavy on this. But I've had this probably for like maybe 13 years. And this is why I'm buying a mid-size welder. Yeah, and this welder is also a dual voltage welder. It runs on 120 volts or 240 volts. On 120 volts, it only puts out 130 amps. On 240 volts, it puts out 220 amps. And since I have a smaller welder, I probably will never hook this up to 120 volts. And if you live in a house where you don't have a 50 amp plug socket, this only draws 15 amps turned all the way up in 240 volts. You can make up an adapter, something like this, and plug it into the dryer socket. And this is an adapter I made to where I can plug it into my generator with a 20 amp 240 volt plug on the end. And I decided I'm going to run 30 thousandths wire in this. And this is an 11-pound spool. I don't use those little tiny spools that they come with. And if you buy this wire online, you can get it at about half the price they charge in the welding store. So I always carry 2 extra spools of wire, and I also always have extra tanks for each welder. And then I can just run it completely out. Yeah, and I already opened the box up just because I needed to see what tips it came with. It comes with 25 thousandths tips and 35 thousandths, so I had to buy the 30 thousandths ones. Yeah, and this is what it actually comes with in there. It comes with an electrode holder for stick welding. And it comes with your power cord for 120 volts. And it comes with a power cord for 240 volts. And it comes with a ground clamp. And it comes with a MIG gun. This MIG gun's definitely a little bit bigger than my 140C one. It comes with a hose for the argon and CO2, and it comes with a regulator. And it comes with some different drive rollers and the tips, and it also comes with this piece if you're running a flux core wire. And here's the directions. And what it looks like inside. And it tells what all the different settings are. And it also tells the different part numbers for like the nozzles and tips and gas diffuser, if you ever have to replace those parts. Yeah, it comes with one little tiny row of 25 thousandths solid wire. And it comes with a 35 thousandths row of flux core wire. The flux core wire is good for if you're welding outside where it's windy and you don't need the shielding gas, but the welds don't look as good. But also, if you have a small welder, this will actually weld a little bit thicker material. It's good for people like building wrought iron fences and stuff like that. Yeah, and it comes with a 35 thousandths knurled drive roller. That's the one for flux cord wire. And by what I just looked up, the one that's marked 25 thousandths works for 25 and 30 thousandths wire. And you also have to change this piece in here. And drive rollers are pretty simple to put on. And that's about all there is to that. And in here is this switch is so if you want to run a spool gun, you can. And eventually I'm going to buy a spool gun and I'll make a separate video just for that. Yeah, so now I'm going to put the gun on, and it's pretty simple to do that. There's just a nut, wing nut in here you loosen up. Then you hook these wires up. Yeah, now I'm going to hook the ground up, and this is very simple to do this. Yeah, now I'm going to hook up the gas hose and the power cord. And this just takes 11/16 wrench. And the power cord just uses a standard twist lock plug. Yeah, so now I'm ready to put the spool wire on. But before I can do that, I have to change the tip. And these don't use standard tips like most of the welders. It's a tapered tip and it's a different threads. So you have to buy the correct ones. And the only difference in the different sizes is this last numbers here. Like if you want 25 thousandths, you just change those numbers. Yeah, and when you put the spool wire on, it's best that you have the gun laid out to where it doesn't have any kinks in the cable. And there's a pin that lines up with this hole right here. And you also want to make sure this wing nut's got a little bit of tension so this doesn't turn into a bird's nest. Yeah, it also has this little storage compartment here where you can put extra tips in it. And here's how you set it up. C25 is the normal argon and CO2 gas you'd normally use for MIG welding. Some people use just pure CO2, and that's the 100. Then this is how you put it in manual settings. Then for flux cord wire, spool gun, stick welding, TIG. And this you can change, I guess, the metric if you want. So we're using C25. And it shows you how to hook these cables up. And we're using 30 thousandths wire. And then you can go the thickness you want. Apparently with 30 thousandths wire, it'll only go up to 3/16. But you can also adjust this outside of what it says. Like my Power Mig 300 won't let you do that if you have it in the automatic settings. If you adjust the wire speed or the volts, it automatically changes both. So I like this, how you can set it however I want it. So now I'm going to hook the argon and CO2 tank up and we're going to try it out. And also, if you want to weld something thicker than 3/16 with 30 thousandths wires, you have to manually set it. Yeah, I just took and moved this welder down on this cart to give me a little bit more room. And I got it all hooked up. Yeah, and we're going to try this out on this 2-inch square tube that's 1/8 inch thick. And I already got all the settings right. And we'll see how it works on the automatic settings. Yeah, and it works good in the automatic settings. Yeah, here goes the second weld. Yeah, and that looks absolutely perfect. Yeah, so this welder seems to work really good. Yeah, I haven't used it much yet. Yeah, one thing I didn't notice about this is it has the same storage compartment on the back of the welder too, where you can put tips in there. Yeah, and this is an inverter-based welder. What that means is it's got circuit boards inside of it instead of a transformer. That's why it puts out 220 amps and it only draws 15 amps. I mean, it's like the same size as my 140C, which is a much smaller welder. Yeah, it used to be if you got like a 200 amp welder, it was big. Yeah, in the next video I'm going to build a welding cart with this welder, for this welder. And there should be a big improvement in the videos because I'm going to go with Final Cut Pro for the editing software.